Are you storing your monthly snapshots in a SharePoint folder and refreshing and consolidating the data from that folder? And every month it's getting a bit slower as you add more and more files? Well, it would be nice if you could just add the latest file rather than refreshing the whole thing. Well, you can. It's called Incremental Refresh, and it's honestly not that hard to set up. Okay, I'm going to show you how. Let's go. Okay, shout out to the folks at DataLineo, Daniel Scott, Ben Watt and team, etc. Thanks for this post, really helped. I'll put a link in the notes below. Okay, so here we go. Here's a file. It's consolidating a whole bunch of files from a SharePoint folder. Okay, well, it's actually OneDrive, but same sort of thing. So here's all my files. Each one's got 500,000 records, and I'm consolidating them all into one nice big data set. And later on, I'll just add a new month, refresh the report, but it'll only refresh and add on that latest one rather than re-importing all of them, which takes a lot of time. Okay, so that's the goal, right? To speed up the refresh. So here's my existing sort of consolidation. I've got all my files consolidated here. I could do number of records, 7 million. I could slice and dice it, etc. But the refresh takes a while, okay? So what we do, how to set up incremental refresh. I'm going to go into Power Query. Now, I've done a whole bunch of videos on how to connect to a SharePoint folder to make your refresh quicker. And really the key part of it is this source step. You've got to change this to SharePoint.contents. It defaults to SharePoint.files. Now, I'm not going to go into all that again. I've done a whole video on it, a couple of videos. I'll put a little link in the description below. I'll put a little pop-up right at the end of this video so that you can click on it. So if you're totally new to this concept and you've never consolidated files from a folder, go and watch those because I'm not going to go into the details, okay? What I am going to do is, if you've already done that, here's how you make it even quicker potentially if your refresh is getting slower and slower over time because you get more and more files. Okay. So the key thing here is really to go back up to this, when you're doing the consolidation step, I've got to this stage. And this really also is more, I would say, safer if you put a good naming convention into your files, because we need to filter for start date and end date, okay? And using this file is file name is a little bit more robust, I think, than relying on, if I go back here to the source step, rather than relying on the date modified or date created columns, because sometimes people can open and close things, and I don't know, I think it's a bit riskier, whereas the file name is the file name, okay, and it's really nice and clear. So what do we do? Well, all I'm going to do is extract the date from here, and then I'm going to use that date in my incremental refresh, okay. So here we go. I'm just simply going to add a column that extracts the first, and in this case, the first 7 characters. You need some sort of pattern. You don't have to lay it out like this, but you need to be able to grab a date, okay? Grab the first 7, click OK. All right, and then Power Query is clever enough to turn this into a proper date. Well, it has to be date time, okay? Important fact number 1, it's got to be a date time. Okay, and then I'm just going to rename this as something like date for incremental refresh. Okay, so there we go. And then I want to filter this for 2 ranges, a start range and an end range. And you have to set this up. This is the key thing for incremental refresh, okay? The most important thing of the whole process is you go to the Home tab, Manage Parameters, New Parameter. You've got to set up 2, a start and an end, okay? And they must be named correctly. So this one I'm going to name as RangeStart. It must be named that. That's not me making it up. That's what it's got to be called, okay? So don't falter from that. And it has to be a datetime. Then you give it a current value, which can just be any date in the past. All right, I'm just going to go 01, I don't know, 2020. It doesn't matter, just some date in the past. Okay, and then I'm going to add another new one called RangeEnd. Again, very important. Must be a date time, must be spelt like that. Current value, let's just put in a current date or anything after that start date, basically. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Just ignore, it's not important. 30th of April, 2020. Okay. So I've just created two parameters, RangeStart and RangeEnd. So we go back to our consolidated files. We go back to this column here, which I really should rename as something like create date time for incremental refresh. Okay, there it is. Cool. And this is the one you want to filter. So I'm going to click on the drop down, go date time filters is after. And here's the magic box. Okay, this has to be is after or equal to. And from here, you pick the parameter range start. And this one is before. So not before or equal to. That caught me out. It doubled up all my data. This time, range end. Okay, so that's the first part of the setup. Okay, nothing too hard there. Just range start, range end. Make sure that says is before and not is before or equal to. Learned that the hard way. Okay. Okay. All right. Applied incremental refresh policy, incremental refresh parameters. I seem to have an issue of putting a capital E with my R's. Okay. Let's have a look. What did I just do? Range end. Oh, 30th of April 2020. Let me just change that to 2024. That's why I had no data. Okay, consolidated files. And that's it. That's the starting point. All right, so there we go. We've got our data. We've applied that little incremental refresh flag. Okay, I'm just going to click close and apply. Now this is going to take a while to load, so I'll just speed it up. All right, takes a while, took about a minute, okay? Final step to set this up is you come across to your table that you sort of added the incremental refresh filter to, and you go to incremental refresh. It says which table do you want to use. Well, I right-clicked on the table I wanted to use, but if you had other tables, and you right-clicked on the wrong one, you could swap it out here. Turn this on, and here comes the last little bit. This needs 4 boxes, and we're done. Okay, this is brilliant. It's a bit confusing about what you do here. I'm just going to pick months. Okay, I want it to refresh a certain number of months before the date I'm refreshing today. How many months in the past do I want it to sort of store? And I'm just going to say some large number. Let's say 24 months in the past. The concept of here is that if you were only wanting to load the last 2 years or 24 months worth, every month, the month that's now 25 months ago would just drop off your data set, making your data set a bit smaller. If you don't want anything to drop off, just go some like 48 months in the past, or some long distance in the past. Okay, then I want to add, again from months, and you've got a couple of options: quarters, years, days. Depends on your refresh cycle, and are you adding daily data, monthly data? Just go with whatever sort of fits with your data refresh cycle. If it's weekly, you could pick days, you could pick months. Again, if anybody has experience of doing this with SQL, connecting to SQL databases for incremental refresh and things like that, just leave a comment about, if you've come across a best practice with days, months, quarters, whatever. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to go months, and I just want to bring back the latest month. Okay, maybe you want to put 2 months just in case your prior month data changes or something like that, but it says down here, it'll bring in anything that falls between the 1st of May and the 31st of May. Okay, awesome. And then these elements are really more for SQL databases, I would think, because it can detect data changes and things like that. Not really relevant for us. Okay, and we're done. So we click apply. And now essentially it's set up. So I'm going to save this as big CSV with incremental refresh, publish it, and then we'll jump back in, okay? All right, so I've published both one with incremental refresh and the one without incremental refresh. And before I add a new file, I'm just going to refresh both, okay? So I'm just going to refresh this one and refresh this one, okay? I think the first time you refresh it, it does take a little while to sort of, I guess, set things up in the background. I'm not really sure what happens technically. It's something to do with partitions, with how the data gets partitioned in the storage and stuff like that. Not my area of expertise. But there's not much difference in the refresh the very first time you click it. Okay. But what I'll then do is when these two finish refreshing, I'll go and add the new month in, and we'll try that incremental refresh one and see how quick it refreshes. The full refresh will just take even longer because there's another file. But the incremental one, the second time we run it, now we add a new month, should refresh pretty quickly. All right, so here we are. The one with no incremental refresh has finished already. It took about a minute. The one with incremental refresh has taken a bit longer. I'm assuming because of that there's setup and stuff in the background. Okay, right, so that's completed. So let's go into here. We'll go into the new months folder. We'll drag this new month into the CSVs folder. Another 500,000 records. Just double check it's gone in there. There it is. Okay. So let's go to the one with incremental refresh. Let's refresh it and see how long that one takes. Done. Okay, so let's check this out. If we go to the schedule refresh and we go refresh history, the first refresh started at 10 minutes and 42 seconds and ended at 12, so about 2 minutes for the refresh. The next one started at 32 seconds and finished at 43 seconds. Okay, 11 seconds. All right, whereas if I go to the one with no incremental refresh, so big CSV, no incremental, go to the refresh history. Again, that took from 10 minutes 40 to 11 minutes 58. So a significant time saver, all right? And you just multiply that by however long your refresh is taking. The worst I've heard of is like 2-3 hours. Could make a massive difference. Okay, hope you find that useful. Let me know what you think. Please check out the description of my videos. I add links to other things. I put updates in there. Maybe somebody put something in the comments that's really useful and relevant. So always check out the description in case I put an update or a link to an updated video. And otherwise, I'll catch you in the next video.